right, so are you ready to unlock some hidden powers?
I think everybody has some.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean,
Yeah.
you hear this all the time about like, oh, you have so much potential, but like, how do you actually find it, right?
Right.
So we found this article, and it has ten tips to like unearth those powers.
Yeah, uncover those hidden talents and strengths.
Totally. And the first one, and I know this one, it sounds kind of basic,
Hmm.
but it is so important. Reflect on what you're really passionate about.
Yeah.
What gets you fired up? Like, what are those activities that just kind of make you lose track of time? I know for me, it's when I get lost in a good book.
Hmm.
I could literally spend hours reading and just completely forget about the world around me.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'll look up and it's dark outside, and I'm like, wait, what happened to the day?
Yeah, and that's a great example of what psychologists call a flow state.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's that feeling of being completely absorbed in something, where you're totally focused and time just seems to disappear. And when you're in a flow state, you're usually using your natural talents and abilities, without even realizing it.
So, like, it's not just about, like, enjoying something. It's about,
Yeah.
like, that feeling of being totally in the zone.
Right. Exactly.
Wow, that's so cool. So, okay, so tip number 2 is asking for feedback.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and I have to admit, I struggle with this one a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like asking for feedback can feel kind of vulnerable,
Uh,
But I realize it can be so valuable because sometimes other people can see things in us that we don't see in ourselves.
exactly. We have
Yeah.
we have blind spots and other people can illuminate those. Like let's say you're really good at organizing events,
Okay.
but you don't even think about it, like it just comes naturally to you.
Yeah.
But then your friends are always like, "Oh my gosh, you're such an amazing planner. You should be a party planner."
Yeah, and that can be such a light bulb moment, right?
It is, but it's not just about like getting compliments though,
Right.
It's about seeking out constructive criticism too. Like ask people, what do you think I could improve on?
Yeah.
What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses?
So, okay, I love that. Ask for the good and the bad.
Yeah,
Be open to it all.
totally. And it
Yeah.
helps to ask people who know you well and whose opinions you trust.
Right, people who will be honest but also supportive.
Exactly.
Okay, so tips 3 and 4, they kind of go together.
Okay.
So tip number 3 is to embrace challenges.
Ah,
And
yes.
tip number 4 is to pay attention to patterns. And I think these are both, like, super powerful.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we shy away from things that are hard, right?
Yeah, we're afraid to fail.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
But what if we viewed, like, failure as a learning experience?
exactly. Every time you fail, it's an opportunity to learn and grow.
And then when you, like, start to see those repeated patterns, like maybe you get asked to help with a certain task a lot at work, or you keep getting compliments on a specific skill, those can be clues to those hidden powers we were talking about.
Right. Or even let's say you keep running into the same problem over and over again.
Oh, okay.
That's a sign that there's something there that you need to work on, It's like the universe is giving you a hint like, "Hey, pay attention to this."
Yeah, it's like a little nudge from the universe, like, hey, you're really good at this, or hey, you need to work on this. Okay, I love that. And you know what? This next tip, I think it's my favorite one of all.
Oh, what's that?
It's explore new hobbies.
Oh, I love this one too.
It's so fun
Yeah.
because you never know what you might discover about yourself when you step outside of that comfort zone and just try something completely new.
They say that the magic happens outside of your comfort zone.
It really does.
Yeah.
And plus, you get to meet new people, learn new skills. It's invigorating.
It is. And you might find that skills from one hobby can actually transfer to other areas of your life.
Well, that's a great point. Like, for example, if you take up, like, photography, right?
Mm,
That can help you develop your eye for detail,
yeah.
your composition skills,
Mm.
which could then be really useful in, like, graphic design
Yeah.
or even, like, interior decorating.
Absolutely. Or even something like learning to code,
Oh, yeah.
that can help you with problem solving and logical thinking.
Wow, I never thought of it that way. So, okay, listeners, I challenge you right now to think of one thing, one hobby that you've always wanted to try, but you've been kind of putting it off.
Yeah, what's holding you back?
Make a promise to yourself to try it in the next month.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like one class or one workshop or just, dabbling a little bit. Just see what happens.
Yeah, it could be life-changing.
Okay, so now we're on to tip number 6. And this one is all about mindfulness.
Yeah,
I have to admit, when I first heard about mindfulness, I was a little skeptical.
I get it.
Yeah, I thought it was all about, like, chanting and incense and
No.
stuff. But then I started learning more about it, and I realized it's really just about like paying attention to the present moment without judgment. And it can be so helpful for like managing stress, improving focus, and even for like understanding yourself better.
It really can. And it can be very simple, you know? You don't need any special equipment or anything.
So how do you practice mindfulness like in a practical way?
Well, one of the simplest ways is to just focus on your breath.
Okay.
You know, just sit or lie down in a comfortable position and just notice the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe.
Okay.
And don't try to control your breath, just observe it.
Just be present with it.
Exactly.
And how long should you do that for?
You can start with just a few minutes each day and gradually increase the time as you get more comfortable.
Okay, so even just like 5 minutes a day can make a difference.
It really can.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to try that. So moving on to tip number 7. This one is about identifying your core values.
Yeah,
And I think this is so important because your values are like your guiding principles. Yeah.
exactly. They're the things that are most important to you in life, like things like honesty or loyalty or creativity or adventure.
Yeah, they're like your compass.
Right. And when you know what your core values are, it can help you make decisions that are in alignment with your true self.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like if one of your core values is like helping others,
Yeah.
you might be drawn to a career in like social work or healthcare, right?
Exactly. Or if you value creativity, you might be drawn to, a career in the arts.
Right. It's about finding that sweet spot where your values and your passions intersect.
Exactly.
Okay, now for tips 8 and 9, get ready to have some fun because we're talking about personality and strengths tests.
Ah, yes.
I love these. Have you ever taken like the Myers-Briggs
Of course, yeah.
or the Strengths Finder? I'm such a nerd for those things. But they can be really insightful, right?
They can. And they can be fun, you know?
They are.
It's fun to learn about yourself, your personality type, your strengths, your weaknesses. And they can also be helpful for like understanding how you work best with other people.
Totally. And I think it's important to remember that these tests are not meant to like put you in a box or anything. They're
Right.
just tools to help you like learn more about yourself and, take what resonates and leave the rest.
Exactly. And they can give you some language to talk about yourself, like, oh, I'm an introvert or I'm a highly sensitive person.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can be validating to like see your own experiences reflected in those descriptions.
Exactly.
Okay. And tip number 9 is all about looking back at your childhood interests.
Oh, yeah.
Because those could be such powerful clues to your hidden potential.
It's true. What were you passionate about as a kid? What did you love to do?
What were you obsessed with? Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I loved to draw as a kid. I would spend hours just drawing and drawing.
That's awesome.
And, looking back, I can see how that passion for art has influenced my career choices and my hobbies as an adult.
So it's like those early interests are like little seeds that were planted,
Yeah.
and they might just be waiting for the right conditions to blossom.
Exactly.
Okay, and last but not least, tip number 10 is all about setting goals and reflecting on your progress. So, once you've kind of done some of that inner work and you've like identified your passions and your values and your strengths, it's time to take action.
Right. And setting goals is a great way to channel all that energy and potential into something concrete.
Yeah, it gives you something to strive for. And then as you're working towards those goals, take the time to like pause and reflect on what's working, what's not working, what you're learning along the way.
Absolutely. Reflection is so important because it helps you, learn from your experiences and make adjustments as you go.
Yeah, it's like you're constantly fine-tuning your approach.
Exactly.
Wow. So there you have it, 10 tips to help you uncover your hidden superpowers. It's been such a fun deep dive.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling really inspired to like go out and try some new things and like really tap into my full potential.
Yeah. And remember, self-discovery is a journey, not a destination. So just enjoy the ride.
Exactly. Keep exploring, keep growing, and who knows what amazing things you'll discover about yourself along the way. So listeners, what small step can you take today to start unlocking your hidden power? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes. Thank you.